I've never really been the one who's worried. Always been the one who's keeping it cool. The kind of guy who chill while others hurry. I didn't know that I've been the fool. I've been telling lies about something real, but I know love is based on honesty. Kept thinking how real love should feel, knowing that it's not just you, it's me. 'Cause I was made to be free. I am made to be free. I am made to be free. Well, I am made to be free. Been thinking about myself and myself only. I've been like that since I was a kid. I've always put my feet wherever I want to. Before I saw who I could be, kept thinking, where did I go wrong? Then realizing where I do come from. Was asking how real love should feel, knowing that it's not just you, it's me. 'Cause I was made to be free.
Oh, pray for Connor. Pray for Connor, everybody.
I am made to be free. I am made to be free. Well, I am made to be free. That's my choice. What I need to be free. Still thinking how real love should feel, when I know that it's not about you, just me. Cause I was made to be free.
Almost paradise. We're knocking on heaven's door. Almost paradise.
Check.
How could we ask for more? I swear
Ladies
I could see
and gentlemen, welcome. Oh no! I don't have. Hold, hold on, folks.
And in your arms, salvation's not so far away. It's getting closer, closer every day. Almost paradise.
Oh, are we connected? Hold on. Hey, we are. Hello, everybody. Oh man, boy, I barely made it. Oh, if you only knew, guys. If you only knew. Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here. Stand up, ground, battery. You beefed it, Dave. That's right. Oh boy, yeah, I censored all right. They can't handle this. Oh, that made me laugh, folks. I didn't have my camera turned on. You know, I take my laptop, I'm in there taking notes. I come back in here, I'm just turning lights on left and right. I got the paradise button, I got this, I got that. The dog's running in here. Oh, man. Punting the whole thing, they said. Good to see you. Sophia, good to see you. How are you? How's everybody doing? Yeah, we got good energy. I got a new sparkling water. I'm ready to enjoy it. Let's party. Hello, folks. Yeah, we got a lot to get into here, folks. A lot. Oh, you know what? I'm not even plugged in. My mixer's not plugged in. Hold on, folks. Oh boy, no wonder. I need a team. I need a team. I can't be doing all this by myself. I need a guy to hand me a thing. I need someone to go 3, 2, 1. You're on. I'm like, hey, good to see you. Instead, it's just me maniacally hitting buttons. You know what? This is what you guys are here for. The unrefined. You should see my desk. I mean, I got super glue. Like, what is it? What are we doing? What are we doing over here, folks? I got masks everywhere and. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello. Everybody, Sarah says, do we think Wells actually was crying watching Connor, or was he just joking? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Poor Connor. He had no shot. Look, Riley's a nice guy, but like, I felt bad when Riley was walking up to Marissa. Like, Connor tried to be like sort of chivalrous to Riley. Connor was like, hey, how are you? And Riley's like, sup? He was like, I'm not dealing with you right now. I like Riley. I do. But I also feel bad for Connor. So I feel like Connor needs me more than Riley needs me. You know what I mean? So if Connor and Riley were both my children, I think I'm going to go with supporting Connor in these times of need. All right, back to live mode here. Don't mind me. I'm just trying to get some things going here. Let's see. Are we set up? There we are. All right, folks. Cammy says, I'm so happy tonight for Joe and Serena P. I didn't want him to get rejected again and leave. Hey, Cammy, are you Temecula Cammy, or is that someone else? I don't get to see anyone's faces here, so I never know who I'm talking to. Ladybird says, I'm shook Marissa and Riley potentially went all the way. As I'll say in my recap tomorrow, it appears that Riley lanced Marissa's bass, if you know what I'm talking about. Hey, folks. All right. Okie dokie. Do me a favor, hit the like button, sling your spade on top of that like button, and subscribe if you haven't already. Cammy says, nope, I'm in OC. Okay, there was a different Cammy there. Oh, you're in Orange County, very nice. King for a Day says, I mean, does the dangling earring age out like late 20s? I don't know. No, I don't know. Do what you gotta do, you know what I mean? My motto, it says, let your earrings dangle. Do whatever you gotta do. Julia's here. I mean, we got so many people to talk about. Julia says, what I want to say to Thomas in Tyra Banks' voice, I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. You know, my thoughts on Thomas haven't changed. I just feel like everyone's like, oh, Aaron is coming off worse than Thomas. The only thing Thomas has had to do is defend himself from these other guys. You know what I mean? Maybe he's a little bit of a nosebleed. Maybe he's got some social anxiety. Maybe underneath the 6'6" facade is a guy who's a little socially anxious, and that's why he talks about certain things he knows how to talk about. He keeps playing the hits, if you will. But I just don't see Thomas as being this big bad guy. I don't see him being there for any more of the wrong reasons as everyone else is. Sarah says the guys need to just get over the Thomas stuff outside of maybe Trey. Yeah. What else is there to say, really, right? Sophia says, poor Thomas. I like that most people there who don't know him are giving him a fair shot. Yeah, like Kenny and Noah, smart guys. Kenny and Noah are like smart guys, and they're like, hey, maybe he's not all that bad, right? That's all they're saying. Maybe he's not all that bad. All right, let's punch in a little bit here. What do you say? Punch in a little bit there. A little close-up action, me and you. The great Gabby, how are you? Says, I feel like Serena didn't need to come back and talk about their conversation like that. I feel like they keep misinterpreting his words. I do too. And you know what? Look, maybe Thomas isn't great at his words, but I feel like they're filling the gaps in his speech. Even in the conversation when Thomas wasn't there, right? You had the people that were on Thomas's season trying to explain to the ladies what went down. And the ladies are like, did he say that verbatim? And they're like, yeah. And it's like, listen, verbatim means exactly as said. And that's not exactly what happened. That's not exactly what happened with Thomas. If you have a fish to fry with him, is that the saying? If you have a reason to have beef with Thomas, it shouldn't be over the Bachelor comment. Just let that one go. V said, all of these retroactive convos analyzing his intentions need to go. I agree. And of course, it's like, look, the guy comes to the beach and immediately He's having the same defensive conversations, and like, of course he's gonna look bad. So of course Serena's like, what's the deal with you? He's like, well, Trey doesn't like me because of this. Aaron doesn't like me because of this. The other guys don't like, and it's like, he just looks bad. And then Tajwan's like, all these guys are a good judge of character. It's like, listen, Tajwan, I love you, but all the guys aren't good judges of character. Like, you're telling me Aaron's a good judge of character? Then if he was such a good judge of character, he would just talk about himself and not worrying, I don't know. Sophia wants to give Thomas a hug. I said, all you want to give him. All right. Kenny's mature and Noah's kind of picked on himself in this season, so I think that's why they wanted to show him grace. Yeah, they're like, you know what, I'll get to know the guy. I'm kind of that same way. It's like, you don't want groupthink. You just want to get to know someone. So Sunshine says, and this is interesting, Thomas telling all the girls they need to help him out so he doesn't hit his head. He's 6'6". He's used to ducking. My ex was 6'9". It's an automatic ducking when you're that tall. Good point. The thing with Thomas and his height thing, I just think that was like sort of his conversation starter. That's just what he learned from a young age when he became tall, probably when he was like 14, 15. He learned that he would like break the ice with his height. I'm just guessing. That's his thing, I'm tall, you're not, He just, literally every conversation he can have with a girl probably has started with talking about his height. It's what the girls are talking about, so he's like, all right, we'll talk about my height. It's his best asset, is his height. Women like tall guys, right? Tell me I'm wrong, please. Women like tall guys. All right, okie dokie. Bruce says, I like Lance Bass, hanging out at the bar and going on dates and watching people kiss awkwardly. Yeah, Lance Bass is good. He's good so far. I like him. He's kind of just like, he's playing more of a fan role. He's just excited to be there. I don't know. All right, do me a favor, everyone. Make sure you hit the like button if you haven't already. Get over there and hit the like button. We are at 109 people. Let's try to beef this puppy up to a couple hundred. What do you say? I see 120 now. That's pretty good. Aurora says, I'm 5'11" and have a hard time finding tall guys. Yeah, I'm like 5'10". I say I'm 5'11". Tosh doesn't agree. So, yeah, the average guy is what, 5'9", like average height, right? So, anything above that's kind of probably hard to find. Sunshine says, you have a point. Being tall is definitely a topic. My ex hated talking about his height. My husband now is only like 5'8". I've dated from 5 foot to others like 6'9". Wow. Yeah, that's quite the height difference. Yeah, you get sick of it. Everyone's like, well, how's the weather up there? Everyone you meet talks about your height. You just know this. For me, it's like with stand-up comedians, if you're tall, you're going to have a joke about your height. You're going to address what's obvious in the room. And if it's your height, if it's your weight, if it's your lack of height, you're going to address what's obvious about you in the room because everyone's thinking of it. Julia says, size doesn't matter to me. That's I believe you. But having been a guy who's been on dating sites and knowing others, the first thing women want to know is how tall are you? The first thing. Then they want to see if you have hair or not. These are just two things that exist. The amount of women out there that won't date a guy under a certain height. Look, that's how it works. Every other woman on their dating profile must be above 5'11", 6'2" or above. I've been at bars with my hat on, and women have taken my hat off to see if I have hair. I'm just saying, folks. I'm not saying women are superficial. I'm just saying. L-Dog says size definitely matters, so there you go. I'm not saying that, like, every guy needs to be 6'9", but, like, most women that I've met don't want to be taller than their guy. Listen, in the comment section, you'll prove me wrong. You'll say I'm taller than my husband. I totally get it. But on average, that's not the case. Denise Skinner checking in from the UK. She says, good morning. Love that I can watch you live for a change. Yeah, hello. Good to see you tomorrow out there. Sophia says, I suffer from petite face. People always assume I'm short. Sophia's got petite face. That's so funny. Cora says, I've always preferred dating guys at least as tall as I am, and I'm 5'5". Oh, of course. Of course. Kathy McLaughlin says Thomas seems misunderstood. I agree with you. Seems misunderstood. Let's set up the voicemails. If anyone wants to leave a voicemail, by all means, hit the voicemail number right up there. You can leave a voicemail. Looks like we've got some voicemails, some of them bleeding in from yesterday. So I guess I'll play some of yesterday's voicemails as well. Maybe I won't. I'll wait a little bit. I'll play some of yesterday's voicemails. Some of these are from earlier today. So if anyone has any voicemails, Shadia, am I pronouncing that right? Shadia says, Dave, you're onto something. I always check the height first. And it's like, look, I just know this because as a guy, in my single years, you see all of that. You go, oh, okay. And I'm not saying everyone's that superficial, but in most cases, I don't blame people if they are into a taller guy. Might as well get that out of the way up front. But I also know guys that might be 5'8" and they say on their profile they're 5'10" because it gets them more. And it's like, what are we doing now? What are we doing now? All right. Miss Tracy says, I'm 5'3". My guy is 6'4", and he's a lovable teddy bear. Perfect cuddle companion. Yeah, that's a pretty big height difference you have there. Horka is in Slovakia, home of Melania Trump. Right? Is that Slovakia? No, she's not. No, she's from Slovenia. Never mind. My bad. Sorry, I just messed up your country. She says, can I ask who went on dates yesterday? And today I'm in Slovakia, so sometimes I'm only able to watch episodes a couple days later. Today you had Riley going on a date with Marissa. They went to the Boom Boom Room. We're guessing that, he lanced her bass. That's what we think happened. And then who else do we have dates? We've got Thomas went on a date with Serena. And Grocery Store Joe was a little concerned, but Serena came out of it saying, hey, I think you should date other people. So she's back with Joe, which is good, which goes to show how important charm is. Okay? Grocery Store Joe has charm. He has a way of talking to women that I don't know if Thomas has. And it's like, look, I don't blame Thomas. The guy was a D1 basketball player. He's good at real estate. I'm not going to diagnose what his issues are. Maybe he's a little socially awkward. Maybe he's introverted and he's masking it. And I don't know. I don't know what the case may be. But Thomas clearly is misunderstood, as one of our nice commenters just said. Patriot Lady says, I think the producers are playing up this Thomas is a villain business way too much. Thomas is nice. I think it's just because he's like a tall, good-looking guy, so people can assume that like he's got some sort of sinister motivation. I don't see it. I just think he's whatever. We could talk this ball all day. It's not that interesting. Ladybird said, "Can you imagine if Tammy went to the Boom Boom Room with Riley? Aaron would have lost it." Yeah, Aaron said something funny, right? Let me see if I wrote this down. I'll be talking about this on my recaps later. By the way, am I buffering at all or am I okay? Let me know if I'm okay over here. Let's see what Aaron said something about. Oh boy, so Aaron's with Tammy, right? And he goes, I gave her a rose so she would stick around, not so she'd date other guys. And I was like, yikes, a little problematic there. Texas Rose says, my husband's 5'9" and I'm 5'0". I'm so short, so I needed someone taller than me, so I have someone to help me when I can't reach things. Very funny. Yeah, you need a little stool. We have these tall cabinets in the other room, so we have a little stool we step on, which is kind of nice. But I'm sure you just need to walk around with a stepladder. Hey, do what you got to do, Do me a favor, hit the like button if you haven't already. When you like these videos, it helps YouTube share them with more people. We're at 140 viewers. Be nice to get that up to over 200. And the voicemail line is open. Let's go to our first voicemail here. It looks like we have a phone call from Texas. You are up, Texas.
I'm calling from Texas, and I was just going to say that tonight's episode was honestly really good. I thought that Tajwan kind of dropped Trey, I felt like, but by the end of the episode, it was like they were back together. I just feel like she knows that he's her only choice.
Oh, good point. Good point. I don't know if you got disconnected there, but that's where your voicemail ended. Yeah, Tajwan, this person called back. Let's go back to the call here. It looks like they got their call dropped.
Hey Dave, it's me, Jessica. I'm calling from Texas, and I was just going to say that I feel like in all of the episodes so far, and basically all the previews, it seems like Grocery Store Joe is always referring back to his time with Kendall, and although it's for us to understand that he's been on here before and his past experience, it's kind of annoying at this point because it's like you keep going back to Kendall, and he should focus on Serena. That's what I feel like.
Thank you so much for the call there. So you said a few different things. First of all, on Tajwan, she's a hot commodity. Tajwan here, Bruce says Tajwan asking a crab for dating advice was the best part of the show. I think she's fantastic. I think she's super cute. She's sort of like giddy, but also funny. I think she's perfect lead material for the show. I know it's going to be nearly a full year till we get that, so maybe we shouldn't even be thinking about that. But I hate to say, I don't even know what season she's from. Can you guys let me know what season is Tajwan from? Sunshine said, Thomas went in for the kiss, speaking of Serena, and she didn't want to reject him, but also wanted to see if she felt something, and he probably said what he said after the kiss, that she was turned off by maybe. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting. Sophia says, Tajwan is such a wild card. I never know what side we're going to get. No, I like her. Yeah, I like her. We have so many people to talk about. So you're telling me Tajwan was from Colton season. I guess I just forget people after the last 2 seasons. Thank you so much, Bruce. Okay, you guys are right. Tajwan was from Colton season. Good to know. We were too preoccupied by his storyline. Anybody who was on Colton season should get an automatic restart. All right, put them on a new season. They get a redo. You heard it. Where's my ref's hat? I need to find my ref's hat. Redo for them. How tall am I? Oh, I'm like 5'10", 5'11", on a good day. If I do yoga that day, I'm 5'11". Bruce says she was eliminated week 1. Yeah, Tajwan, I'm glad she's back here. I'm glad, these producers get to see a side of someone that we don't, because they get to interview them. They know way more about these contestants than we ever do. So I'm really glad they brought her back, because it was worth it. It was worth it to see her in all that jazz. All right, I got my phone lines wide open, so feel free to call in. We had a fun conversation last night. We were talking about, let's see, can you guys see when I do, let me see, you can see that. Okay, good. We had a fun conversation last night talking about which Bachelor in Paradise contestants we would like on a stranded island. So if you guys want to continue that, because we started playing that at the end of last night's live stream, you can leave a voicemail and tell me which same-sex contestant would you like for either best friends or, other, if you want to have a same-sex relationship, by all means, we're progressive over here. And which opposite sex person would you like? So, like, for me, I'll get the ball rolling. I would probably like grocery store. No, I would like Kenny. And I can't say Mari, because then they're just going to hook up the whole time. I want Kenny there as a buddy. So I'll say Kenny, and then for a female, I think I want Tajwan right about now. Now that she's overcome her fear of crabs, I think I'd like her. If you'd like to introduce anyone else into the conversation that's not on Bachelor in Paradise, I'll let you. Leslie says, I'm tired of Connor singing. Well, he's a talented guy, Bree had tagged me in some of the I'm drawing a blank here. Okay, so last night Victoria Paul talked about her ex she was dating, and I was tagged in some of his music, and he's a pretty good country musician. They called him like a sort of a wannabe country musician, but he's actually pretty good. Deborah says Taj. Am I pronouncing it right? Taj is in my top 3 for BFF. Good to know. I'm trying to think what other ladies would be on it. You know what? Maybe Natasha. Like, Natasha's pretty chill too. She's a pretty chill. Who else would be in my top 3? Not Marissa. I'm happy for Marissa and Riley, but Connor didn't stand a chance. Didn't stand a chance. Isn't this show is literally like your worst nightmare. You fall for someone and then someone better looking comes in. This show must create more traumatic experiences than the Bachelor or Bachelorette, wouldn't you say? Lauren says, I will say Hannah, that was the Bachelorette, and my friend, what was on Dez's season. Hannah as the Bachelorette would be my nightmare. Who would be the worst person you would want to be stranded on a desert island with? Mine would be Madison Pruitt. Hard 100%. Mine would be Madison Pruitt and Carl. But maybe we could use Madison's eyelashes to like catch fish or something. You know what I mean? If we just like use them to like, I don't know. Dr. Joe would be a major asset. Yeah, people said that last night. Absolutely. Dr. Joe would be, of course, a major asset. You know who else would be an asset though? Is like someone, I hate to say it, right? But someone like Garrett, Becca's ex, right? Someone who's like, sort of a country. You need like a countryman. You need someone who can hunt, right? Dr. Joss says, Trey proves his emotional immaturity, unfortunately. He's a nice guy and happy he has found some love, but you can't do black and white thinking. How, yes, can't wait for him. Pilot Pete would be a nightmare. I mean, as a friend, I think Pilot Pete would be fine. Maybe not as a lover, but I'm sticking with the fact that I think Pilot Pete's a decent guy. And that's not just because he slid into my DMs. But listen, if you slide into my DMs, I will give you the benefit because, you know, Ego Dave goes, oh, they're sliding into my DMs. They value my art. They think I'm funny. They must have a good opinion. You know what I mean? Sarah says, Madison would be a hard pass. Oh, and it's like, listen, no offense. I'm sure if I was stranded on a desert island, I'd be praying too. But the idea of me waking up and seeing Madison being like, you know, no, I don't need it. I don't need it in my life. It's like you just need to pick, once in a while, you just need to pick an enemy. And I'm not saying Madison's an enemy. I'm sure she's a nice person. But she comes off supremely privileged to me. I saw the funniest thing about like pretty people when they're like super Christian. It's like, yeah, of course you're super Christian. You're beautiful. Like I don't know. That makes sense. I don't know. JC Miles says, Demi was quiet tonight, but it figures she gives us our first female Black Bucks of the season. Them cheeks were too revealing for network TV. How come I missed that? Hey, Tasha. Tasha, you in there? Tasha might be sleeping. Eliza Lee says, what's wrong with Madison, though? Listen, I just haven't meshed with Madison since I was introduced to her. So I'm just going to go ahead and say it. If anyone doesn't like me, I get it. You know what? If anyone ever is like, you know what, Dave, you seem like a nice guy, I just don't like you, I'll go, you know what? I get it. I feel the same way about Madison. So to each their own. There's enough fish in the sea. Oh, boy. I don't know. I consider myself a pretty spiritual guy. I just think Madison, whenever anyone's like, gosh, I just feel like whenever I explain it, I come off like an Aaron. You know what I mean? But I just feel like whenever anyone's identity is like their religion, that's like not a real identity. You know what I mean? I don't know. I got this new bit I'm writing about how like my stepdad's homophobic, and he's a great guy. It's a bit, right? He's a lovely guy. But I go, my stepdad's homophobic, and I start making fun of him. You know, but he's a Catholic guy and he's a God-fearing guy, and it's like, you know, should I make fun of him? And then to twist the logic of a lot of religious people around, it's like, well, God made me in his image, and that must mean God has a good sense of humor because he made me here so I could come make fun of what's her face with the eyelashes, Madison. I mean, the logic's sound, right? And that's sound logic. If God made Madison so she could preach and wear ripped jeans and preach about the Lord, but God also made me to make fun of her, I think that's a fair deal, right, guys? Am I onto something? Does that make any sense? I'm not anti-religion. I'm anti-making anything your full identity. I don't know if this makes any sense. Kate C said, worst, Luke P and Demi. Spoiler, I think I would get along just fine with Luke P on a deserted island. You know, but then again, I wouldn't have to like compete with him for someone's love. But I think as a normal guy, I'd get along fine with him. But I understand the point. Maddie's eyelash. Deborah says Maddie's eyelashes for firewood. Can you imagine that in some sort of like Survivor episode? Well, we withered away her eyelashes and created the strongest rope possible. They just tie all of her eyelashes together and cast for food. Hororker says, I have to agree with Garrett. He could be helpful on a desert island and a nice eye candy too. I mean, look, we're not picking people based on whether or not they're, whether or not they're lovely people. It's who's going to help me survive. Sophia says, the best ever would be Canadian Daniel. He was hilarious. I absolutely do remember Canadian Daniel. He would be great. Danielle Renee Melot says, worst would be Greg. Well, again, for purposes of the deserted island, I don't think Greg would be that bad. In fact, he's tall, so he could reach for coconuts, so that's good. Sophia says, no one likes you, Dave. Oh, you sure do. You do. You're court ordered to watch me. Callisto says they should do a Bachelor in Paradise with all the past leads of the show that haven't found someone yet. Might be interesting or a disaster. Well, yeah, I mean, you got some old people in there, right? You got some old people, but then you've got them, there's a lot that are taken. You got Hannah Brown's taken. I'm trying to think, Matt James. A lot of who's the last lead that's straight that's not taken? I'm trying to get Colton Underwood out of this. Tracking his career, as you do. Duct tape. Victoria's from the show would be a nightmare. Of all the Victorias on a deserted island, I think I might like Victoria Fuller the best. I don't know. It's hard to do. The three Victorias, they each have one redeeming quality, and then three things they go, oh, no way. Lisa says, she bothers me too. It's okay. Not my vibe personally. It's okay. I'm just, it's when people recite Bible verses. Look, I was raised Catholic, so we don't even do Bible verses. When you get some of these Southern religious people, I'm just like, all right. You know what annoyed me about Madison was how like wealthy her family was because her dad's a basketball coach. Look, I don't know. Shadia says, I like Maddie, but I get you. It can be a bit much sometimes. Iona says, we talking about Maddie Pruitt. OMG, I ship her and that virgin guy from Katie's season. That his name's Mike. Ship. I don't know what ship means. I refuse to learn new words. I'm old. I don't evolve. Deborah says Maddie just seems very privileged. Yeah. I don't know. Go abroad and, be a missionary where they don't have internet. I'm being mean. Crafty Beach says, we've decided to ban Victoria's, Garrett's, Luke's from Bachelor. All right, good to know. No more Luke's on Bachelor. Travis said, this religious discourse is kind of cringe. Sorry, Dave, just being honest. I don't like the word cringe. I think it's often misused. If anyone else feels like I am being cringe-worthy, let me know. Please, by all means. Bruce says, rip jeans and eyelashes, you're not wrong. It's nothing against religion, Travis. Although I do have issues with religion. To me, there's something better about having like a spiritual connection to the world, and if you want to call it God or universe, well, I don't care what you want to call it. My family's Catholic. You tomato. But like, I don't know. I mean, I could get into. I bet you spend 3 minutes looking into her, I'd feel like it's just culty to me. That's all. It's culty. You're doing panels, preaching about things. Now, yeah, girl, get it. Like, what tragedy have you had to deal with in your life? Where's your adversity? All right. Anyway, I might be far behind in the comments here. Ina says, hello from Palestine. Good to see ya. Hello, welcome Palestine. Iona said, remember when Maddie and Peter dated for 24 hours and then broke up because his mom was right. There you go. Crafty says, Maddie rubbed me the wrong way, the whole purity culture. Yeah. All right, here we go. Texas Rose says, I'm a Christian and I agree with you. Also, life shouldn't be so serious all the time, Yeah. And again, I don't have anything against virgins, but it's just, this is what happens. Virginity becomes your identity. So who cares if you lance your bass? Who cares if you sling your spade? Who cares if you bump an arrow? Who really cares? Do it. You do what you got to do. If Marissa and Riley want to hook up on the first night of dating, who cares? Who cares? This episode of Who Cares brought to you by Dave Neal. Who cares? Hey, Darha, is it Darha Dobsbrick? Darha Dobsbrick says, hello from Slovenia. Good to see you. We got Europe in the house. Europe is in the house. Good to see Europe's in the house. Canada's in the house. North America's in the house. Good to see everyone. All right, Becca's single? Oh, yeah, Becca Kufrin. Well, I don't know if she is. She might be single. She might not be single. Crystal Best says, so is Bachelor in Paradise airing Monday and Tuesday, both 2-hour episodes? I asked because City TV here in Vancouver is only showing Mondays. A second episode. Crystal, Brian, as far as I know, again, you know me, stepping it up for the Canadians, the second episode, so tonight's episode in Canada will air Saturday. That's what I heard on the Reddits. I don't know if that's true. Crafty Beach says, I don't think Becca is single. I don't think so either. I think she might find someone in Bachelor in Paradise. But we'll have to see about all that. Shadia says, I'm Christian, but she can be a bit much singing. Horrorker says, I started to read the Bible. It is quite a hilarious book, I must say. My grandma worked in a church, so I grew up in a very religious family. Yeah, look, I mean, I'm not anti-Bible. I think there's a lot of great teachings in the Bible about doing well. I think humans wrote the Bible, and I think humans edited the Bible through King James, through all these, telephone, you pass the thing down, and it's been rewritten for like the Western world, and Jesus became white with blue eyes. What is Jesus? He just looks like a surfer bro on Huntington Beach. What is this? You know what I mean? So when people go to me, well, the Bible says, I go, what are you talking about? That's not the barometer of good and evil. That's not the barometer of love. But I do think I'm going to make my channel a church so we can be tax exempt. And that's another thing. Whenever there's money like that, you get Scientology as a church. It's like, really? You know what I mean? Like, where do we draw the line? Anyway, folks, we're having a good one tonight. Have I burnt enough bridges out there? Julia says, Carl is so cringe. I'll tell you what, Carl doing his, Cobra Kai is definitely more cringe than me talking about Maddie. I don't know. Maybe not. Havorker says, I think it should be normal to talk about our opinions and views on anything without it being cringe. Yeah, thank you so much. I guess I'm going to try to catch up here. Jess says, I walked into a religious conversation a little bit. We were talking about Maddie. She's not even on the season. I don't even know why we're talking about her. It was rightfully my fault. Miss Tracy says, Dave doesn't like Madison like I don't like Katie. I really don't like Katie. I'm in a good mood. I'm not going to go there. Hey, no worries. Hey, don't do what you got to do. Wow, here we go. Horrorker says the Pope is coming to Slovakia in September and only vaccinated people can go see him. That's what's so funny because I have some anti-vax people in my family. Like statistically, we all do. And they're like super religious, and they're choosing their anti-vax propaganda over what like the Catholic Church is saying. It's beyond me, guys. Hey, that's the problem. That's what a cult is. You choose your brain kind of short wires. Pfizer's approved, folks. Get your vaccine. All right, Teresa says, I escaped Catholic school my junior year. The nuns ejected me. I feel like that would be a good movie. Tell us more. Lisa Reed says, Dave is funny tonight. Well, you saying it like it's a surprise. Dave, did Tasha add your joke into her minister speech? No, she didn't. No, she didn't. But she still had a blast. She got a good applause breaks. Sophia says, me and my boyfriend hooked up on the first night. 15 years later, we still make breakfast together. There you go. Absolutely. Hey, Jeanette says Arkansas is in the house. Very nice. Do we have some more voicemails? Oh, let's go to Tracy in Washington. You are up.
From Washington. I am literally exhausted, getting ready to go to bed, but I wanted to call in and just comment on the episode.
Please.
I was really frustrated, to be honest, with the guys. I've been frustrated with the guys ever since Katie's season, just because they seem so petty when it comes to Thomas. It's just like nonstop, and it gets annoying. And I really was disappointed in the women, how they kind of just followed along with it, like mindless sheep. And it really, really pissed me off the way they were treating him. But other than that, the episode was pretty good. And I'm excited about the upcoming episodes. It looks like it's going to be a fairly good season. And yeah, but anyways, keep up the great work.
Thank you so much for the call. Coming from Washington. I'm assuming, are you Washington State or Washington, D.C.? Because that'd be pretty late East Coast-wise. Deborah Hill says, Dave, tell us what you really think about Madison. Look, I'm sure she's a fine person. It's just the content that I've seen is kind of like, all right, you know what I mean? Travis says, Dave, I'm not defending religion, and I agree with the identity commentary. I just feel like there are a lot of your comments that are kind of a stretch. And I'm an evolutionary biologist. Oh, that's awesome. Evolutionary biology. That's amazing. Well, it's because I don't have my notes out for why I've decided I roll my eyes at Madison. I just kind of always was like, you know, whenever I see, I don't know, people that are like, and you know, I guess maybe this show's also guilty for making virginity and identity, but also, you know, we saw this with Mike. I made a whole video about it, how like Mike's like, look, like I once slipped up. It became like national news on, you know, on the blog. Mike slipped up his virginity. What did he accepted a blowjob somewhere? That means he slipped up? Because what's, you know, by saying like I slipped up, yeah, like I get it, but it's also saying that people that do that are bad. Like they can't control their impulses. It's like, who decides that holding onto your virginity is good versus bad? And I get everyone's different, but the point is that it's ingrained in us. It's not that you wake. It's not that one day you say, you know what? I think we should be virgins until marriage, and that should be a gift. No, that you think that because that was like there's built into your aura growing up. You signed a purity pledge at 14. Not you. I'm just saying in general. A lot of people that have these thoughts, and it's like, you just want to shake them and go, just do you. If you want to not have sex, fine. But don't say it's because you've committed yourself to God. Like, what are you saying? You think God gives two shits if you fuck somebody? Pardon me. Jeanette says, I'm Catholic too, and I feel the same way as you, Dave. Catholic people bang the most. Come on now. Jeanette knows what I'm talking about, right? Jeanette, come on, eat the tongue. That sounds sexual, but I meant that because of the Riley conversation. How funny was that? How funny was Riley and Marissa doing the old truth or dare? They basically have to answer the question or they have to eat the food. How funny was Riley eating the tongue? He eats it and he's like, that ain't too bad. Next thing you know, they cut to him in the testimonial. He's like, he's got the Tabasco sauce on it. You know, how funny was that? So good. Kathy McLaughlin says, Dave's always funny. Well, thank you so much. I mean, not always, but Leslie said cow tongue is a super popular Mexican taco dish. You know, living in Los Angeles, we have our fair share of taco trucks, and I went to one down the road and got the cabeza, which, is that brain or is it just head? I don't know if there's a difference. Either way, I was disgusted by it. And the guy was like, you should get the cabeza. And I put it in my tacos, and I was just like, oh, I don't know, like it was too fatty. I could like, I wasn't there yet, folks. I'm not, Milwaukee Motor says, I thought Marissa was rude to Connor. At least Serena spoke with Joe before and after. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Marissa was, I think, trying to maybe disassociate, just like trying to like psychologically not let the two worlds mesh. Maybe Marissa was worried. I'm sure the production was like, all right, you stand here and Riley's going to come up. And then Connor comes up and she's probably like, oh boy, I'm not good at this. I don't really think Marissa's the most evolved with relationships. I mean, she said she's never been on a date before. So this has to be clearly like crazy for her. By the way, I'd love to see Marissa's, she said she lost a lot of weight. I'd love to see, I mean, is that weird to even say that? But I'd love to see like what she looked like before and after. I don't know. Worker says, funny thing is, I watch a couple of atheists on YouTube and they know more about the Bible than any Christian. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of like how a lot of Europeans know more about American politics than Americans do. There's just, you know, not all atheists, but a lot of people like, I know, I have friends that have left the Mormon church and they know so much about the Mormon church, so much so that they questioned their beliefs. The more they studied the Mormon religion, the more they saw all the holes in everything, and they were like, this ain't gonna be for me. I'm all about truth and authenticity. truth and authenticity. Let's see. Let's put some music on here. I'm going to have to change my camera battery in a little bit. I'll let it keep running till it dies, but it was only at 60%. If anyone wants to call in, leave a voicemail, 401-213-9828. Eliza says, I'm a Christian and work at a church, but I appreciate hearing your perspective, Dave. People don't have to agree. It's about understanding and finding the kernel of truth in the other side. I mean, you know, I've got an uncle who is a pastor and has his own church, and I would gladly go to church with him. I have an uncle who's a Catholic priest as well. I am not just some whippersnapper with hostile opinions about religion. To me personally, though, do good. You know, like I've grown up with certain levels of guilt that I never needed, because if you just try to do good by your close family and good to strangers and good to others and increase the energy and try to create, I think we're all on this earth to create. I think we're all connected through a weird set of pyramids and skyscrapers and farms and aqueducts. And I think it's beautiful what we're all creating. Now through the internet, through the pandemic, we're all linked here. We're in Slovakia. Palestine's in the chat. It's crazy. It's wild. I won't, and I don't have people guilt tripping me, but I won't settle for a man. I won't settle for some feeling like if you don't get down on a knee on Sunday morning that you're not good. I know you guys aren't saying that. I'm just saying the idea that if you don't hold on to your virginity, you've got something wrong with you, or you're, what? Oh, I mean, and again, not all religion does this, but a portion of it does, and that's what needs to be like just carved out of the religious dialogue. Plenty of New Age religious churches, spiritual gathering places that could care less if you're bumping Harrisons with someone that you're enjoying hanging out with. Anyway. Miss Tracy says, many of the worst events in history were brought on because of religious conflicts. Think about that. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Of course. V said, we wear white on our wedding day to show our purity. I know, in my case, I'm going to get, struck by lightning. All right, moving along. Sarah said, Dave went off. I don't know, we're having fun, right? Preach. Yeah, I guess, Crafty, I guess if you told me to preach, I can be a pastor. I mean, I could really use the tax write-off this year. Trina says, got a purity ring for confirmation in 8th grade. That didn't last. You know, there's someone who runs the purity Instagram page. I'll look it up right now. And she's going to come on my show next time we have like a purity chat. It's called Talk Purity to Me. And it's unlearning the shame that purity culture taught us. No duct tape or free milk metaphors allowed. If you want to support my work. So anyway, it's a very fascinating. I am my way, my truth, and my life. No one is my authority except for me. Look, there's plenty of people out there that do a lot of bad things in the guise of religion, that do a lot of judgment, like a lot of, thinking you have to save others. I get into all of it. Like I said, I've got my own credentials with pastors and priests in my family, and that are good people, by all means. We're talking about the guilt, the shame, and the sort of subtlety that goes along with how you're made to think growing up through religion. So Trina got a purity ring for confirmation in 8th grade. So what does that say to her in 9th grade when she gives a guy a hand job? Who cares if Trina gives a guy a hand job, right? Who cares if she's under the bleachers and does a rub and tug? Who cares, right? But if she's got a purity ring on while she's doing it, and it might be a little, conflict of interest there, she's going to feel this shame and guilt, and maybe she's going to, self-medicate with drugs or food, or who knows. Lauren says, V, I won't be wearing white. Havorka says, I had sex for the first time in my late 20s. Don't like to say I lost virginity because I did not lose anything. You said loose, but I know what you mean. And it was with someone I met on Tinder and met twice and don't regret a thing. There you go. Don't regret a thing. Carly says, go off, Dave. Well, I got to be truthful to my own opinions. You know what I mean? But again, respectfully, look, hey, respectfully, you can think different things. It's more about like I said, it's more about the purity culture. So it's not like, oh, you're religious, you're bad. No. So many people in my family do so many good things through the community of religion. All right, let's get into this phone call here. Who do we have? Ladies and gentlemen, hold on a second. I'm having an audio problem here. Hold on to this call. Can you hear me? You're not on the line yet, so hold on 1 second. I got to put you on Bluetooth. Hold on, folks, here. When it comes to talking about purity culture, we always like a call from Canadians. The Canadians... Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, we've got Sophia on the line from Mont-Royal, Canada. How are you?
Straight from Montreal. I'm good. Feeling good tonight. Had a few drinks, good show finally. Not too much Danny action. I'm happy.
Yeah, they had to save her. They couldn't handle 2 nights in a row.
Yeah, no, it's too much. But I just wanted to say, with the purity culture thing, I think it's it's a bit I get both sides of it. If you're religious, that's fine. I'm not religious, but just don't push it onto me, but believe whatever you want, because people have their reasons for believing what they do, or for, if it makes them feel good, that's fine. But if it makes them feel guilty for certain things, then it doesn't. So there's always a balance,
So how do you feel? Did you watch the episode tonight?
Yeah.
So Crafty Beach here, by the way, Carly says she was raised Mormon and left when she says she left when she found out all the crazy shit. But Crafty Beach says that they were slut shaming Marissa on Fantakes Live, calling them out because, and of course, no blame for Riley. So do you see that as much in Canada, like slut shaming just on the women's side of things? Does that exist there?
Well, you see, like I said, there's always 2 extreme sides of the coin. So you'll have the people who are going to slut shame and make people feel bad, but then you're going to have the other people who will encourage it to a point where people who don't necessarily feel comfortable will feel pressured to do things that they might not feel comfortable doing. So I think it's just about letting people do what they want to do when they're comfortable to do so. But I think here, in Montreal, people are just open and people will be, no one's going to shame anybody else for what they do. For the most part, the smart people, the fun people,
the fun people.
All kinds everywhere.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, I know it's I know it's wild to say in Canada, how do they feel? Because obviously there's going to be purity culture.
Yeah, I can't talk for all of Canada.
Please tell us how your country thinks. But it's obviously.
I'm one drunken bartender.
What are you drinking tonight?
I'm actually trying a Coors Seltzer Black Cherry.
Oh, Black Cherry, that's nice. I'll read you Bruce's comment. He said, people are going to the boom boom room and fighting on the beach, and Dave is ranting about aqueducts. What timeline is this? Yeah. Every once in a while, I just kind of realize I'm kind of, I need to reroute my path, if you will. I don't know why.
Sometimes we go off. I think that's fine. That's part of the whole chat thing. Sometimes you got to go off on another subject. Sometimes you're talking about, Tajwan getting comfortable with a crab on the beach.
Yeah. That's listen, if people want to come on my live stream and be like, well, Connor's ukulele song, it's no, we're talking purity culture and Madison's eyebrows. What do you need? You know what I mean? We're all different.
Yeah.
So anyway,
leave it open to everything.
How do you stay up so late?
I'm a bartender, Dave. Look, I've done this. I've been working in bars and living at night for years. That this is just my normal schedule. When the sun comes out, I'm like a vampire. I'm just can't.
So what time do you wake up in the morning?
I try to be more of an early bird in the summer. So I'll get up pretty early if I'm doing things. So I'll get up around 8 or 9. But I'm used to sleeping 3-4 hours a night. It's totally unhealthy. Do not do what I do.
You only sleep.
I sleep on a couch.
You sleep 3 to 4 hours a night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind
I
of.
sleep on my couch all the time, more than on my bed, because I know that I have just a few hours to go to sleep. Then I got to go run and do something. We have a bed, but it's recreational. That's pretty much. We both sleep on the couch.
If I don't get 6 hours of sleep, I am miserable the next day. I don't know if people can tell from my content, but my post-production suffers. It becomes very hard for me to make thumbnails and do all that little processing stuff if I don't get 6 hours of sleep. Yesterday was rough. Flying through the middle of the night and all that jazz, it was kind of rough, but I don't think anybody would have noticed.
it's tough. The thing is that when you get used to it, like I used to be an insomniac as a teenager and I could not sleep, and I would go for sometimes 3 days without sleeping. So it's like now if I get 3 or 4 hours, I'm fine. Under 3 hours, I'm a wreck. Like even if it's under a minute, but if I do 4 hours or 3 hours, I'm good. You know, I'm running on zombie time here. You know?
Yeah, no, like
I think as you get older, it gets harder though.
when I'm like if I've got like I can't do writing, I can't do creative things. I could do stand up, like I could get on stage and do things, but I can't do the creative aspect of my brain. Just doesn't work in that case. But
it's the complete opposite for me. Like if I'm doing creative things, it has to be in the middle of the night. It has to be like at 4 a.m. when there's no one around and it's just me. And I'm like, okay, now I got to do some stuff. I got to do some editing. I got to do some, you know, like that's my creative time is in the middle of the night. If it's during the day, I'm like, I want to go outside or do yoga or like go do some exercise. Like I don't want, like I have things to do. The middle of the night is when I get creative. It's like, I don't know, it's when you're half asleep that everything comes in, but don't do what I do.
What is your does your boyfriend have the same sleep schedule as you?
Yeah, he does because he used to work at the bar with me. So not on the same nights, but we both have that schedule. And now he works overnight and I work during the day, but I only work on weekends.
Interesting.
So like even now he's at work and he'll come back at like 7 a.m.
So on a side note, I just posted on the live screen chat a split screen of me as a priest.
I don't see it yet.
So I think it should show up
I'm
here.
looking at. Oh my!
Just because people.
Old school Dave.
Yeah, this is an old photo. This is 242 weeks ago. People were saying I should start a Bachelor ministry. So here's the Bachelor ministry. This was from this was me doing stunt double work in a horror film on the left, and of course the right was the long hair there. But for all my Catholic friends out there, you know, there you go. See, they put this like.
I don't know. I love the long hair Dave. Like that's about, my boyfriend has a hair about maybe a little bit longer than yours on the long hair side.
Oh yeah,
he has
really?
longer hair than I do. Yeah. Like,
you know what's funny?
Like
You've been around for so long, so you've seen this side of me, but so many people haven't seen my long hair. You were here for the long hair days, right?
Such good long hair.
Yeah, look at that hair. I feel like
yeah.
it's so funny to me because it's so natural. But this is about, I guess, like 4 or 5 years ago. How wild is that?
Yeah, when you used to burn the sage and we used to have a glass of wine together and you were by the shelf. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Boy, burn one out for a long hair Dave. Now, could this, this could happen again, but it's like, the pandemic would have been a perfect time to do it. The thing that annoys me is people are going to go, Dave, you should grow your hair out. This took so long to do, and it looks so stupid if it's not done right, and Milwaukee Motor says, I think short hair suits you better. I'm glad Kayla likes my short. I'm glad people like my short hair. Just because
you can rock them both. Like I think you look good either way. It's just a totally different Dave, and I think like long hair Dave is a little bit more edgy. So I don't know. I like long hair Dave.
How funny is it? It must be so like narcissistic for people to tune into my channel because all we do is talk about like Belizean Dave, long hair Dave, referee Dave, coach Dave. It's always one thing after another.
Let's just all talk about Dave's hair at like 2 a.m.
Yeah, they were talking about religion and then they just got into talking about Dave's hair. What the hell happened there? I'm looking for one more good hair photo and then I'll let it go. One more good hair photo.
Let's see it.
I don't know. There you go. There's a nice one there for you. If anyone wants to
I'm
see
a bit delayed.
Well, the problem is you can't get any. My battery died. All right, hold on a second here. Just hang out. I need to change the battery. I'll be back in 20 seconds.
Off to one side.
I'm back. New battery's coming in right now. That was a quick change there. New battery. There it is, folks. Okay, we're back. Thank you. Normally I've got a full battery for the day, but I knew this was going to be a short one. Anyway, so listen, I don't want to bore anyone with my hair, photos or anything like that, but I should get on with it. Anything else from the
It's
episode?
always fun to go back and look at pictures, whether, I would love to see all the cast when they were like teenagers, to see like who has fun or nerdy pictures, who's a bit out there, It would be interesting. I'm like, can we go back and just look at them as teens?
I think it was.
For some of them, it's not that long ago.
I think someone
I don't know, it's because I'm old.
I think someone just shared a photo of Aaron, and he looked like really dorky. I could be wrong. I think it was Aaron. I'm not sure. But anyway, no one, we all had my teen photos. I looked ridiculous. I had the bangs. You know what I mean? That's the problem. Is like, like no one teaches you not to have bangs. You know what I mean? I remember when I studied abroad in France, the stylist I went to pulled my hair back, and he tried to gel it. But for a guy, it takes like weeks to get your hair follicles to like fall back. Do you know what I mean? Like I couldn't do bangs right now. Like my hair just wouldn't do it. But like, cause I've trained the follicles to go backwards. That's what we're talking about now is hair follicles, folks. But the point is I got so self-conscious from the hairstylist that I tried to like undo the style that he did, and some girl didn't know I spoke French, and she walked by and she said, "Say what's it? Il est moche," right? Which means it's ugly. And I was like, I hear you. And she was like, oh. She was like, désolé. I was like, come on now. All right. Anyway, she wasn't wrong. It was a great, we all have our. Like I feel like ladies are probably the same way, right? Now we have YouTube tutorials. I feel like you can like figure these things out, but like when you're young, you don't know what your good features are yet. So you're just like not wearing the flattering outfit. Like the older you get, you realize like what type of jeans look good on you, whatever the case may be, I feel like. But when you're young,
I love seeing the phases, like the phases of fashion and people trying stuff. It's fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll go back and I'll see like things that I wore, and it's just like so cringy. Like I have pictures of like in Ninja Turtle sweatpants. You're like, why?
Yeah,
like I don't know.
Yeah, well, we try our best. What can you do? Someone just asked if Tasha has met long-haired Dave. Tasha dated.
I think Tasha loved it. No.
Yeah, Tasha loved long-haired Dave, which made it hard to cut it because she was like sad when I cut it. You know what I mean? That's when my hair got too long.
Oh yeah.
But
cut the hair and all the girlfriends cry.
Yeah, these old photos, man. I used to make photos of, I just pulled up. I think this is JoJo, and this was where they photoshopped her butt. Do you remember this? Look at this. This is an actual clip from the show that I'm showing right now. That's JoJo's butt. They photoshopped the wedgie out of her. Isn't that wild? Are you seeing?
Well, that wasn't a great job.
Oh, it's hilarious. I used to.
Is that really better?
It happened today, actually. They did the same thing to Marissa. I think it was Marissa. Maybe it was Deandra. Now that I'm thinking about it, by the way, here's Daniel. Remember Daniel?
Yeah.
There's Daniel right there working out. Our Canadian friend.
I'm a bit delayed. I love Daniel. He's hilarious. He's so funny. He would say the best one-liners. Like Slim Pickens here, I remember just writing them all down and being like, this guy's Daniel's the best. Now, you see, I just got it now. They used to work out and they would all bro out together.
Yeah.
I love that he didn't take himself seriously. I still follow him on Instagram and his pictures are cringy, but I still love him.
Oh yeah, these Canadians.
I think he should have been Bachelor because it would have been funny.
Yeah, any of the guys that like have fun with it, I feel like people don't take them seriously, and it's like you can have a sense of humor and still want love. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he's amazing. He swings both ways. So like he would have been a fun Bachelor. Like I would always like post to the Bachelor, like make Daniel the Bachelor, and we can have guys and girls running, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, well. We'll have to see. They're about to announce the next Bachelor. It looks like it'll be Greg Grippo, but who knows?
I don't know. I'm not totally opposed to Greg. Like, I'm not. I don't necessarily like Greg, but I know why they picked him. And I called it before what's his name? Their reality Steve.
Now hold on. No. Continue what you were saying. Sorry.
Yeah, I called this on the episode that they had the argument, or right after. I was like, Greg's going to be Bachelor. And I'm like, that would be hilarious. And I knew it would happen. And I think I was having a conversation with Sarai, and I'm like, I'm sure they're going to do it. I'm sure they are. It's just, it's about getting the ratings, about getting that drama out. And like, let's give Greg a second chance. When Nick Viall was a Bachelor, everybody left. They didn't even have enough people. Like, and now he's got a blog. Everybody loves him. I don't like him anymore. I still don't like him.
Well, no, I don't think everybody likes him.
Forgot.
There's plenty of people that don't like his sort of judginess. But...
all I hear is positive things about Nick Viall. And I'm like, I don't hate him. Yeah, all I hear, women love him. And I'm like, why? He's such a
well, anyway.
Like, he doesn't bother me that much, but he comes off as a douche. Like, I don't know. I don't know. That's me.
Someday when my YouTube channel is big enough, there'll be plenty of people who don't like me. And I think that's something I'll have to come to terms with, because right now it still bothers me. But, at the same time, I think if I just stay on YouTube and stick with the people that enjoy me, like you fine folks out there, that we don't have to deal with that. Because, everyone's got their own, everyone's, I like that Nick is like self-made and entrepreneurial. He took his time on the show and he turned it into, a full-time, whatever it is. So, I can't speak for him dating a young girl or this or that or what his feelings are about other people, but he knows in order to pay his bills and set himself up for life, he's got to talk a little trash about some of these contestants. And that's just the path he chose. So anyway, yeah.
Well, I like that he's ballsy. I just personally don't find him interesting. I don't hate him anymore. I really did at the beginning, but then even I kind of was like, yeah, whatever. Like, I just don't care about him. But there's a weird side to I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were talking how sometimes being canceled is a blessing, because you'll get canceled and you weren't even known. You weren't even anybody. You weren't even on the radar. And now people hate you so much, they're posting all this stuff about you. People are going, what's going on? And you have the other side that'll just defend you just because, so sometimes, you get canceled and you get ratings and your podcast goes up, or I think people should just be true to themselves. And the people who don't want to listen to it or don't want to hear it will not hear it. Just turn it off.
Yeah.
Fine. Just walk away.
And I've had my own sort of thoughts about this where I can't always be as edgy as I used to be, because I have to be, there's a respect there when you have a bigger audience. But, I try to just sharpen up my sense of humor. And I think in some ways I can be as dirty as I used to be, just with, maybe innuendo or with respect to others. I don't know if that makes any sense. Maybe my thoughts will change.
There's always a way to do it. There's some comedians who balance it out really well, and they don't exactly pick a side, and they just kind of stay off political or whatever, and they'll just keep it funny, and that's fine, But some people, I think it's fine to have your opinion as well. Even we don't agree on everything,
yeah.
But at the same time, I'm going to respect you for your opinion, even though sometimes I'm like, what, Dave? Are you serious? But I'm like, that's Dave. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
I'm going to try to convince you otherwise,
I just don't want to be some lame after buzz TV announcer or so, whatever. I'm not worried about it. We're doing our thing and it's going fine, and all that jazz. But I gotta defend myself to some comments over here, so I'm gonna have to let you go. I've got.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Good luck with that day.
It's all good.
Okay.
It's all good. Thanks for calling, and keep drinking that black cherry liqueur or whatever it is you got over there.
I will. Have a good night, and hi to everyone in the chat. I'll give you all a shot.
Yeah,
virtual shots.
Take a shot. All right. I'll talk to you later.
Later.
Okay, bye. Okay, look. Okay, Abby. No, I'm not being defensive. We'll talk about it. Dave, Maddie seems privileged. Also, Dave, when I studied abroad in France, listen, I worked my ass off in college to pay my full way through France. And I'll tell you what, one thing I've been feeling recently is that I wish my family did have the means to give me more money, because when I studied abroad in France, it sucked. I lived there during a bus strike, so we literally had to hitchhike around town for 80 days. There was no transportation, and I sort of got taken advantage of by the teacher that financially. By the teacher that put me there. They put me in a way overpriced place where he was clearly getting commission off of me. It was a total mess. But no, I ran my own company. through my own seed money, I had a painting company in college, employed about 15 people, and raised enough money to go study abroad. And not a dollar more. Let me tell you something. I worked, probably, honestly, an hour before sunrise every day that summer to be able to go to France. It was amazing. My family's doing good. They're doing better now. But when I was growing up, I didn't get a cell phone until I could afford it. I worked and all that. Yeah. So I have a pretty good work ethic. I think you can tell too from people when like they have a good work ethic that it's like things weren't given to them. But by all means, everyone has different privilege. Of course, I've got that privilege as like a white guy, absolutely. But sometimes that also works against me. You know what I mean? When you've done comedy for 10 years and there's people that have done it for 1 year and they just pass you in line. There's plenty of people that could realize this from other places of privilege where you understand that it's not always meritocracy and you just got to fight for what's yours. You got to fight for your place in all of it. So anyway, I know you're just kidding, or maybe you're not. Maybe you're calling me out, which is fine too. You can call me out all you want, but I will gladly provide the receipts to what got me. Honestly, since I got into entertainment, at the age of like 23, I never had more than a rent's pay ahead of me until this past year. And guys, it stunk. Okay. I look back on that. I think of it every single day. I work so hard because I don't want to live with that financial insecurity. You shouldn't make decisions as a creator wondering whether or not you'll be able to feed your family. And I'm 36, right? So I don't have any kids yet. We're fine. I pushed back getting engaged because I couldn't afford it. It was like a real, the balance between working side hustles and doing things that you love. Like I always say, stand up is kind of like you're an intern until you're the CEO. So you have to spend years perfecting your craft, years before you start getting paid for it. And you just gotta want it more than the next guy. You gotta work harder and want it more than the next guy. So when I started making some cheddar with my YouTube channel, it was like, by all means, I know what it's like to work shit blue collar jobs in attics with insulation all over me in 120 degree heat, in the middle of the summer for minimum wage. I've done it all. Not to say people haven't worked harder than I have. We're all different. But the point is that privilege is something you're born with, and then hard work is what gets you to the next stage. All right. Okie dokie. Trying to get through the chat here. Let's see. Put some music on. My music ran out, so let's get some music. We are juking and jiving. It looks like it feels like I'm starting to lose my voice here. Kayla says it's 1:06 a.m. in Texas. I guess that's a few minutes old right there. We never hit 200 viewers today. I guess it's not as many viewers for Bachelor in Paradise. JC Miles says they had Nick's YouTube post of tonight's episode already up 30 minutes before the end of the East Coast feed. Crazy. Yeah, that must have been a mistake. Oh, sorry, I'm pulling up... Am I on preview mode? No, let me... Just making sure. There we go. Bye, Sophia. Did we lose a Sophia? Maybe we had a troll in the room. I don't know. I'm trying to get back to the 11 a.m. in India. Wow, good to know. 2 a.m. for Sunshine. She's in Florida, I believe. Milwaukee Motor says, Dave, did you do a video of your background? Meet the maker. Could you be more specific? I don't quite know what you mean. Did I do a video of my background? Dr. Joss said, purity culture was to preserve cultural norms, but I do believe God inspired righteous men and women in the Bible. God inspires us to know right from wrong and to do good. Yeah, I think the problem with the Bible is that, like, who's to say who's in charge of what stories to share? It becomes like a gatekeeping thing over time. You know what I mean? Milwaukee said, interesting. So many things we don't know about Dave. Oh, yeah, well, by all means. Deborah says, did you go to university in France? I studied abroad my junior year in the Euromed University in Marseille, which is in the south, and it's actually a pirate city. It's 2,600 years old. Marseille is the capital of soap, And it's also been blown up many times in the different world wars, and it's been rebuilt many times. It's where the it's where the Chateau d'If is, which is the castle on the island, which is where the Man in the Iron Mask is from, and it's got a ton of culture, but it has a terrible infrastructure for getting around. The buses stopped running at like 9 o'clock at night. This was before Uber existed. It was a pain in the butt. Pain in the butt. Tina Hororka, I think you're supposed to be in a meeting, right? Says I visited 14 to 16 countries and I'm not privileged. It's just cheap to travel through Europe, and I also had a part-time job which took me to a couple countries. Absolutely. Absolutely. Traveling through Europe is amazing. You know, my stepdad found a car that he thinks I might like on the East Coast, and I'm considering buying it and just driving across the country again. I just love traveling. I love seeing new things, being new places. I haven't been to Europe since I studied abroad, but I did visit over a dozen countries, and all that. Absolutely. I'm a little behind on the chat. I'm trying to catch up. Kate says you can tell your work ethic by the amount of YouTubes you put out and the quality of them. Well done, Dave. Well, thank you. You know, it can work against people too, because I have to remember to like take time for myself and all that. And I know that person wasn't, even if you were calling me out, it's fine. Call me out. You know, that's a good sign. If people are calling me out, because I finally started thinking about this, where like people have been like, oh, like you have what you have because of X, Y, and Z. And that means I have something, you know what I mean? And that's okay too. So when you get something, I had like last week, 3 or 4 different comedians private message me asking if I would video conference with them or they could take me out to coffee to pick my brain. And I think, about my YouTube success because they want to see like what they can do. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Everyone deserves to get theirs. A lot of times people ask me for advice, and then years go by and they don't take it. And that's just the war of art. That is resistance. It is very hard to try to build something. I totally get it. L-Dog says, Dave is a freaking hustle. You too, L-Dog. You too. I'm seeing your TikTok videos. L-Dog's hustling over there. Steer Crazy says, Dave, do you and Tasha want to have a big wedding? Not after this past weekend. Not after going to our friend's wedding, which was fun, but it looked like so much effort that went into it. We're gonna pick a beach pretty soon and get married, and I'm gonna live stream it for you guys. I'm gonna try my best to live stream it because God knows we'll need the super chats. Tina Hororker's leaving. She's got to go to work. Postponed a meeting. So thank you so much for hanging out with us. Danielle says respect on Dave's name, people. Yeah, show Minister Dave some respect. I'm kidding. I don't need any of your respect. We're all good. Miss Tracy says, any French on the thread? Do the subways still smell like pee-pee? I'm serious. Back in 2012, I smelled like pee-pee. Does the New York subway smell like that too? Yes, the New York subways literally smell like someone just peed all over your face and then microwaved it. Absolutely. You just, that's the beauty of wearing masks. Like, I'm going to continue to bring a mask when I travel just so I can like put it on and not have to smell people's, hot subway farts. Dr. Josh says, I'm glad you used comedy to help us honestly talk about these things. My kids are talking more openly about sex and my generation didn't. Yeah, that's so great. It's so great to talk about things, I know so many people that have died, in comedy because they faced their demons and they weren't able to overcome them. I found out a comic I knew died today. I found out today that he died. He died months ago. And then I saw I was tagged in a photo of his memorial. And I was like, I haven't been on Facebook. Obviously, because of the pandemic, you don't see a lot of comics and you just think it's because you haven't seen them in a while. And then you're like, dude, so-and-so died? What the hell's going on? And you go, overdose. And why does someone overdose? Well, they're trying to like bury whatever feelings they have. They're trying to just like medicate. So many people are going through so much like that. Deborah Hill says 8 a.m. in Switzerland. Deborah, when you send me the chocolates, can you send some with like nuts or fruit in them? I love the Swiss chocolate that's got the, Abby, Abby, I appreciate your comment back. She said, I was 100% joking. I used to listen to Nick's podcast, but left him for your channel because of how you interact with your fans. I love your content. Nothing but good vibes. Abby, all good. All good. But I did want to comment on how hard someday when I'm doing the 24-hour live stream, I'll explain for you all the ins and outs to how I got to France. It is ridiculous. It involves a last-minute trip to the French embassy in England because my visa didn't come through. It involves a shoddy passport photo from a CVS. It involves so many steps along the way, getting robbed, so many different things that happened to get, I broke down crying to my boss about a month before my trip. So how it worked, this painting company I worked for, you kind of create your own brand and then you market. It's a long story, but I worked for a painting company where I had my own territory, and I had to make $85,000 in sales. Again, I was 19. I had to make $85,000 in sales in paint jobs, exterior paint, which I'd never painted before. I had to learn all how to do it, and the average paint job was $3,500. So I had to have almost let's see who's texting me right now. I had to do about 25 to 30 houses that I had to paint with a crew in one summer. And it's a short summer in New England. I only had a couple months to do this. And if you don't get to the $85,000 revenue mark, the company that you work for doesn't give you like a 20% bonus or whatever it is. It essentially came out to like an extra $5,000. And that I was sitting there maybe at $70,000, and I was about to, there were not enough hours in the day to get the paint on the walls to make this money back. And I remember going to my boss's office just like, I can't do it. I quit. I didn't quit, but I was like, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make the benchmarks. I'm not going to get the extra $5,000 bonus, and I'm not going to have enough money to go to Europe. I don't know what to do. And I broke down and I cried. And, gosh, this was such an important part of my life. And I remember the guy. I remember his name too, Lyle. And he just gave me this great motivational talk. And he was like, you got this, man. You got this. I was like, I don't have it. All of my guys were quitting. It was August. It's 90 degrees and humid. You can't even paint. You can barely paint that time of year. It's too hot. You're sticking to the thing. He's like, you got this. You can do it. And he gave me he lit a fire under my ass. A lot of my guys quit. They didn't want to work in those conditions, which I truly understand. My buddy Diggums came to help me out, and he goes, look, I don't know what you need me to do, but I'll do it all. And he helped me literally get to that finish line, and he helped me get my bonus. I ended up with $88,500 in revenue. I ended up getting the bonus that I needed to make it to France. It deposited into my bank account. Everything just worked out. But I drank Dunkin' Donuts Turbo all summer long for that. And it was, I tell you what, the $10,000 or something, and it was only to make 10 grand, after I broke even on everything else. Maybe I made a little bit more than that. It wasn't even a lot of money considering I was about to burn it all in Europe. And not burn it all in Europe because I was balling out, just burning it all on basic essentials, But if someone gave me that $10,000 and said, hey, have fun in Europe, it wouldn't have hit the way that it hit because I worked so hard for it. And I feel that way with YouTube. I feel that way with YouTube where it's been such a struggle for so long. My Listen to Your Heart videos from just 1 year ago were only making $1 a video. Okay? So up until January, I wasn't making shit. I'd make the occasional donation, and you guys have been fantastic. But then my number was finally called, and you guys came through. And my buddy Diggums was one of my best friends. And, he was on my high school football team. He was a great guy. And he passed away a few years ago of a stroke. And it was rough. It was rough, but the legacy of friendship and hard work, it's something that you can only hope to pass down to other people. You can only hope. It's I'd love to talk more about him in the future. I'm going to try to get back. Sophia says, I lived in Australia for a year and I worked 60 hours to make it happen. 60 hour years, 60 hour weeks, maybe, to make it happen. Working 60 hours a year, you really, Tina Hororka says, Europe is fun. Just don't watch Eurotrip or Hostel if you decide to visit Slovakia. So the star of Hostel, who I believe gets murdered, is a girl that I know. Her name is Heather. Miss Sam Craig says, hi, Dave. Found your videos a few weeks ago, and I love them. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Megan says, my dad buys cars in other states and drives them home like twice a year. That sounds like so much fun to me. All right, I'm going to slide through some of these comments because so I can't, unfortunately, see all of them. Hannah says, where can I find your stand-up schedule? Hannah, where do you live? How about that? I've got a few shows coming up this week. Miss Tracy says, did you date any foreign girls while in France? What are the differences you noticed between dating Europeans and American girls? That I kissed a girl and she liked it. No, I'm kidding. I liked it. And everyone was like, oh, she's going to want to date you now. I wasn't, I guess, and maybe it was just a part of the country that I lived, but if you just like kiss someone, they assume it's your girlfriend. And I don't know if that's the case everywhere, but that's what they told me. And it was so true. She was like, I just started dating this girl randomly. Her name was Laura. And she didn't speak any English and my French sucked. So it was very hard to converse with each other. I don't know. We'll talk more about that another time. But yeah, that was way before Facebook didn't exist in Europe at the time. This is like 2005. So Facebook was only like within your own school at that time. It looks like I'm trying to go all the way. Deborah Hill says, Dave, I'll send you a DM on Instagram. Please do. I don't want to make you send me chocolate, but if you really want to, I will for sure help you get that. Hannah says, why did I choose France? I have an uncle who my aunt married who's French, and I've always been intrigued by the French culture. So I thought it'd be fun to travel to France. I wouldn't change anything for the world because I met so many great guys over there, but I do think I studied in the wrong city. I think there's plenty of other cities I could have studied in. Unfortunately, the culture I got wasn't the one I wanted, but it was probably the one that was most interesting, which is that I was there during cars were being burned and there were riots. It was when there was a lot of tension between the Muslim population because of a mosque that was, I believe, that the police, there was a fight at a mosque. I don't remember the details, but it was like crazy tension. It was crazy dangerous. It was wild. It wasn't what I signed up for. It was wild. And like I said, my roommate got jumped outside of our apartment. A female got jumped. I got drugged once. It was wild. I think they were trying to drug my female roommate. She was buying the beers. I drank it. It was wild. But I learned a lot. It was my first time that far away from home. Deborah says, Dave, that friend Diggum sounds like a keeper. Oh, he is. His legacy lives on. His legacy lives on. He's a great guy. We used to go to our high school. We were on the high school football team together. So we really, I know that doesn't sound like much to people, but if you've, my voice is just, we experienced a lot of bonding through all of the hard work we put in together. He worked for my stepdad. It was a real loss. Sorry, I'm just behind on the comments. Oh yeah, I appreciate all the love, guys. We should save it for the 24-hour live stream. Not going to Colorado anytime soon for stand-up, but you never know. You never know. Matt Norden, good to hear from you. Matt says, I'd love to hear more about your YouTube comedy grind. Any advice for aspiring creatives? Yeah, the first thing I would do is buy the book, The War of Art, because you're going to face resistance, and it's important to know what it is and squash it down. You got to take that resistance and say, not today. Every day, resistance, procrastination is going to try to keep you from doing the hard things being the work you want to put into your creative endeavors. Everything else doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how long you take. It doesn't matter how many rungs on the ladder you have to climb. Resistance will try to stop you from climbing that rung. And every day you let resistance win, you get farther and farther from your goals. Stay in your own lane. Don't worry about others and just keep creating. Slide into my DMs on Instagram if you have any questions, and I'd love to help you out. It's an ongoing grind. I feel it every single day. Every single day, I compare myself to others and I have to just slap myself and say, stop, Dave. You've got so much to be grateful for. All right. Sophia says, c'est vrai, il y a pas de choix. Au Québec, on parle en français, LOL. She says, it's true. It's not a choice. In Quebec, one speaks the French. LOL. I think I got that right. Je parle français pas très bien, mais si tu veux, je peux avoir une conversation sur Instagram. Sur Instagram, si tu veux, écris à moi une vidéo avec parler français. On peut pratiquer. Mais je suis désolé parce que c'est pas très bien. Je parle pas français trop. Je parle pas français souvent. Et j'ai perdu la langue très vite. Merci beaucoup pour écouter quand je parle français. All right, thank you very much. Thank you for your feedback. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup for your feedback. Montreal is beautiful. One of my friends I met in France, who is a brother of mine. I just love this guy. I could go 10 years without seeing him, and I just love this guy. One of my brothers that I've met in France is from Montreal. I can't wait to go back. Stir Crazy said 24 hours. Yeah, when I hit 100,000 subscribers, I'm going to do a 24-hour live stream. I'm tempted to do it before then, but I'll try to do like some epic live streams. Maybe when I hit 50, maybe for 50,000 hours, I'll do a 50,000. I'll do a longer live stream. I didn't quite do it for the 40,000. I was planning on doing a 4-hour for 40,000, but with all the traveling I had this week, I couldn't really do it. All right, let me try to get through these here. We have a nice little chat happening. I know it's got nothing to do with Bachelor Nation, but my compass is always about answering your questions and what interests you, and then people that can enjoy that conversation will stick around. All right, here. Oui, fromage. Yes, cheese. I like that. Do you speak French? Oui, cheese. Yes. Cheese, s'il vous plaît. All right, look, I'm all caught up. All right. Si tu veux manger fromage avec moi, come to a stand-up show. We'll eat cheese together. Erica Brandenburg says, we need some edibles, iced coffee, Coke Zero. Yeah, get it all lined up. Oh, boy. Having an edible for a 24-hour live stream is probably a bad idea. Anyway. It looks like I got to get out of here, guys. We're at 11:30. I got to get out of here. I don't think I'm going to record my recap tonight. I'll save it for the morning. And I'll do my Bachelor in Paradise week, episode 2 recap in the morning. I'm just going to call it quits on the night. My voice is kind of soured right now. I appreciate you guys letting me share some stories with you. And if anyone in the comment section has any questions, I try to... Jeanette says... Oh, hold on. Jeanette says, Dave, stop at my restaurant when you buy this car. Food on the house. Well, where are you at? I'd love to know. How much fun would that be if I buy the car... So I promised myself I wanted to just get something reliable, but here's the problem. Cars are so expensive right now. My car's air conditioner went out. You guys know the battery. It's had a lot of issues. Used cars are so expensive right now that I'm like, I don't even want to splurge on a car right now. And my stepdad was like, hey, there's this, my buddy's selling his his BMW convertible for like $4,000 or $5,000. It's probably an older car. And I'm thinking, well, as much as I don't want to have to like fix a car up, if it's good to go and I'll have to check it out, then maybe just for the next year or two I can putz around in an old Beamer, which could be fun. So we'll have to see. But you're in Arkansas? Yeah, I'll swing by Arkansas. I drove by Arkansas the last time Tasha and I did a road trip last year, right before COVID hit. We drove through Arkansas. We stopped in Memphis. We stopped in Little Rock. All that jazz. Absolutely. Route 40, right? Goes right through Arkansas, right? Yeah, I'd love to stop by Arkansas, try to do some stand-up. What kind of restaurant do you have in Arkansas, Jeanette? Hannah J's leaving. Bonsoir. Bonsoir, mon ami. Looks like we'll get out of here, folks. It looks like we did it all. And I thank you guys. I don't know what the live stream schedule is going to be like for Monday or Tuesday. I apologize to my moderators. I don't know what it's going to be. I'm going to have to look at like what the day's looking like. I do like jumping in on those East Coast live streams when I can. I feel like there's an untapped market for me, and I'm not trying to steal anyone else's live stream people, but if they want to come to my side, maybe I'll get some new people out there. We'll have to see. Jeanette said, food on the house. Good to know. Oh, it's a Mexican restaurant. Beautiful. Oh, Mercado. You know, Jeanette, Mercado is there's a Mexican restaurant here in Santa Monica called Mercado. It's gorgeous. It's so good. Food on the house for you and Tasha. Absolutely. This is so funny. Your cheekbones and jawline and ears are all good, so you look you look better with short hair to show off those features. Oh, thank you. Just a little facial analysis from my facial plastic surgery training. Wow, that's so good to know. I appreciate it. I think I've got one ear that's lower than the others, but I think we all do. All right. Deborah says next time you'll call in from Switzerland. Absolutely. Good to see you here tomorrow in Switzerland. You know what I'm gonna do? You know what I'm gonna do, guys? I'm gonna call it quits. That's what I'm gonna do. I'll just pitch this. If you're not on the Patreon, I made this video today, how much money my interviews make. Which, you know, it varies. It's about the behind the scenes of, do I continue building a podcast studio here, or do I go rent one? You know, do I go rent one for the different podcast interviews? If I'm going to be interviewing, higher ups in Bachelor Nation, do I want to bring them to my place and do something here, kind of build out my studio more. And then I talked about how much the interviews actually made. I'll tell you, the Reality Steve one made $209 so far. That made more than the other ones. Usually the interviews don't make as much because it's not like as clickbaity as some of the other videos I make. So, of course, for the Reality Steve one, I donated $200 to RAIN, which is the sexual abuse hotline, as promised. One of the videos I shared the receipt for it. So I wanted to make sure people knew that, because I wanted to make sure we followed through on that donation. But anyway, folks, so if anyone wanted to go there, that's just patreon.com/Dave Neal. You can get all the content for as little as $5 a month. And anyway, if anyone wants extra content, if you're a night owl and you're bored and you want to go sign up, that's where that is. But either way, if anyone wants to see, someone just said, adios steak studs. So I will show you, if anyone hasn't checked out my Instagram today, I'll leave on this, but I've got my, excuse me. I've got, wait for it to load. My, is it not going to load? I posted the photos that a few of you guys found. I was on the Game Show Network today, for a game show. I have a little bit of a stand-up bit about it, about how, like, it's times are tough when you have to go on a game show to pay rent, but that's what happened. This was last year. So here it is. If you guys didn't see this is on my Instagram, at DNeal, so you can go follow it over there. I'm sure most of you guys already saw it. It's pretty goofy, but we did a game show. It's when I had a mustache. Maybe for the 24-hour live stream, I'll grow a mustache. So there I am, steak studs. I guess we filmed this in the fall, so a lot of you guys weren't around yet for that. But tell me about your plastic surgery skills. What do you think? How does my face look with a mustache? This is me answering one of the questions here. I actually did I did really good on this. My buddy Tom and Dan, they're other stand-up comedians, and there we are. And of course, there I am, just standing like I'm about to march into a war or something. So anyway, folks, that's that. Just a little fun for you guys there before I take off. Again, thank you all so much. I appreciate all of your kind words and support. Gonna go pour one out for my boy Diggums there. Always like to bring him up when I can. It's important to have people in your life that will answer the phone when you need them the most. And it's important to be that person for others. And it is very rare, and I know this in the entertainment world. Literally, I'm going to talk till my voice is gone. It is very rare to have that trust in someone, that unconditional love. I can probably name on one hand people in my life that will pick up the phone when I need them the most. And you got to hold on to those people and cherish them. Okay, folks? Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate all of you. Have a good night, everyone. Plenty of content coming out tomorrow. We'll talk to you then.